Welcome back to Tran's Guide to Norland. It should really go without saying, but the comments tell me otherwise. The date of this video is July 16th, 2023, and I am playing the demo early access version. If you're seeing this years down the line, there may be differences. The game has alternative names for intellect or intelligence, sharp-tongued or precise language, and combat instructor or battle instructor. I'll be using the name in the tooltip because that's the picture I can give you in the video. And finally, in order to unlock a specialization, you must reach rank 15 in a skill that noble has a star in. Chapter 1. Manners. Manners are irrelevant as a skill. Charismatic is better than nothing, as long as you monitor your nobles from cheating on each other. Otherwise, this is actually worse than nothing. This gives you the opportunity to bribe and seduce lords you can't otherwise reach. In addition, if this is on your ruler, the Charismatic specialty gives you the opportunity to make amends with unfriendly rulers, but is a weaker, slower, but cheaper version of the Persuasion specialty. If an attractive noble specializes in manners, you will have an easier time acquiring nobles of the opposite gender without using holy rings, but both parties will suffer a mood penalty against piety. Spouses, even when not in the same province, will immediately know something has occurred. If you wish to utilize Charismatic, reroll the heir until he has both Charismatic and a positive trait, which further increases interest. Usefulness increases if cutthroats are not available to allow you to straight up kidnap someone. If in an enemy city, don't expect the ruler to like you any better unless said ruler is the target. If seducing in a neutral or friendly province, a separate runner must invite your target to join when defection is available. Only one lord per province may be ready to defect at any time, even if multiple lords have zero loyalty. If your relationship with a kingdom is at least plus 25, inviting guests to your kingdom is a more efficient means of attacking loyalty through seduction. While this doesn't utilize the visit enemy cities part of Charismatic, you will be leveraging your plus 15 interest bonus. A bonus which is completely replaceable by a trait, which is why if you insist on using this specialization, you roll for a positive trait. Chapter 2. Trade. Trade is only needed on one noble who will be present in the evenings, as a trader only appears from 1800 to midnight. Each point of trade different than the trader gives you a 5% modifier to the value used for buying and selling, and you can eventually sell items for more than what you paid for. Your ruler's trade skill is also measured against another ruler who is willing to buy or sell resources to you at a 3% modifier per difference. The base price for rulers is the opposite of the price list for traders. Not because it is the highest available starting number, but you should consider having at least one person in your starting party to have 17 trade to get an average of 50% modifier against traders who spawn random skills. After Persuasion, trade is a good secondary skill for your ruler to have. Forecaster is irrelevant as a specialty since there is only one trader in the game who arrives at the same time on random days, which you can load the game until he appears. Forecaster gives you a prompt at midnight notifying you which item will be scarce on the trader's next visit. The noble with this skill does not need to have interacted with the trader at all, but he does need to be in the province. The scarce good is randomly selected at midnight and can also be changed by loading the game before then. Chapter 3. Persuasion. Persuasion is useful on everyone as it helps defend against loyalty attacks. Try to have 7 ranks so as not to be dominated by bribes and seduction, preferably 10 ranks to shrug off such attacks. Otherwise, you will end up needing to reward or threaten those affected nobles, who can eventually leave your kingdom if their loyalties remain low. Powerful in your ruler, as this allows peasant messengers to deal massive loyalty damage. You should aim for having at least 16 persuasion on your king. Take note that your ruler can actually abandon the kingdom, likely to a loyalty attack. Diplomat is irrelevant as a specialty. For the price of 25 holy rings, another ruler who is at negative 25 or below, enmity or deadly enmity, will lose all thoughts about the player ruler. This typically means being set to negative 10 relationship antagonistic with you due to a negative 10 thought for being a sworn enemy. Can be used even if the ruler is not in the target province. For whatever reason, the target ruler does not actually get these rings. Chapter 4. Intelligence. Intelligence will be irrelevant on most nobles. Writing books takes just as long as reading, not counting the time it takes to go to the warehouse for paper. If you have the paper spare, you should consider having your nobles write in order to learn a new piece of knowledge. In dice games, having higher intelligence than your opponents gives you at least a 55% chance to win, with negligible difference having higher ranks. It is not worth your time to try to use intelligence to win dice games. While intelligence is important, the benefits gained by raising this skill are not substantial. Having 13 intelligence to access the highest level books is enough. The slowest you can learn a book is over 10 hours, and the fastest is in 5. There are 50 knowledge items, and having 2 dedicated researchers will let you explore most of the game. You will want 3 to 4 researchers if you want to research everything within a reasonable time frame. Poisoner is situationally useful. Decent odds of success in poisoning the target, but low odds of actually killing the target due to the prevalence of medicine. The maximum possible success rate of poisoning the target is 90%, and the minimum is 5%. Every point of difference in intelligence is a 4% modifier. You must either wait for medicine to be consumed and have a 50% chance to instantly kill the target, or wait 24 hours without medicine for a 90% chance that the target dies. Servants, slaves, and even normal peasants will attempt to deliver medicine to the sick noble's house. To keep the noble from healing himself, destroy the house so he can't access the delivered medicine. A bishop who has been poisoned to death will not summon the Inquisitors, but a new one will appear at the next 1800 cycle, even on the same day. Chapter 5. Management. Management is the best skill on most nobles. This is the primary action your nobles will do each day. Unlike other skills with a flat growth rate, the higher your rank, the stronger the difference between each rank. Having higher management does not affect the speed at which your noble completes his task. Traveling from building to building takes up most of your noble's time, so being slowed by sickness or pregnancy will impair your effectiveness. For your convenience in managing a population of 100 people, consider having men take on the inspection duties for production bonus, and women work in the chancellery to minimize travel time. Aside from your highly skilled nobles, the rest will likely be managers or soldiers. There is no level recommendation for management, as you should aim for more and more of this skill. Precise language is better than nothing. If the tooltips in the chancellery are to be believed, the bonus given to your clerks barely reaches a quarter of the value, let alone half. Your high-level managers will best benefit you by personally inspecting buildings. Don't consider this specialty to be an actual production bonus until your management skill is at least 19. Chapter 6. Teaching. Teaching is a strong skill for any noble with high ranks in any ability, provided you have a noble 21 years of age or younger. A noble older than that will receive roughly a quarter of that experience. Teaching is also used to train soldiers. Soldier AI will first attempt to replenish their mood bars. Whether or not they are able to, once they have exhausted all options, will then look to spar. Sparring will cause pain, which will result in a negative thought unless a fanatic. Training is available for a noble to work from 0800 to 1800, but those already sparring will continue to do so until they yield, even after the trainer leaves. The July 10th patch has brought the actual experience gained for adults to be closer to what it reads in the tooltip. At this current value, I would say it's alright to allow anyone with 10 teaching or more to go ahead and mentor any skill you want, up to level 15 or 16 on students older than 21. Battle Instructor is the best specialty skill. Expect to turn your whimpering cowards into high-ranking soldiers very quickly with this. That being said, subduing your rivals by intimidation is faster than by force, but you still need the army to back up your words. Chapter 7. Combat. The combat skill is nice looking, but the best option is not to send anyone you actually care about into battle. Everything is random there, and your noble can actually suffer permanently just because the game rolls that way. If you have to pick between combat and command, send a bunch of soldiers accompanied by a commander instead. As an added safety net, if the commander dies for any reason, the squad will be commanded by a regular soldier until disbanded. If you actually care about your noble's fighting ability, then when battling other rulers, you will want at least 5 combat. Battling the Unholy Horde or the Inquisition, you will want at least 20 combat. Head Chopper is rarely useful. Instantly killing your opponent is only good in small-scale skirmishes, such as hunting wolves, dueling nobles, or squad battles in the very beginning of the game. And even then, you should never bet everything as if it's guaranteed to happen. Dueling requires your noble to have high loyalty and be enemies with your target. The best way to leverage this skill is to have your Head Chopper assist any of your nobles who have a desire to hunt. Chapter 8. Command. Command is great in all stages of the game where battles are involved. Morale plays a large part in whether or not your army disperses or fights to the end. In the early game, having the morale boost will give you complete victory over the enemy as they try to flee. In the late game, the morale boost is freely given to your hopefully large army. This skill is rated higher than management because it is more closely tied to your actual survival. Bringing new peasant conscripts without 14 command will spell doom for your squad. While there is not a maximum morale bonus, your best commander should strive to hit level 20 to 21 as the game goes on. City Defender is rarely useful. Invasions in this game are widely telegraphed beforehand, and unless you have a habit of killing bishops and getting attention, you are unlikely to have your province be attacked. Chapter 9. Knowledge. What you're seeing on the screen now is a list of all knowledge in the game. I will point out that should any of your nobles get an enlightenment, the trader will not bother to bring that book for you. That could be a little bit of a problem for you if the person has less than 13 intelligence and is not going to stick around for long. But that's just a problem you're going to have to deal with. As you look at this infographic, you'll see that in order to get the coal furnace, you'll need to know the mine first. And the coal furnace doesn't lead anywhere further. It's a dead-end research, but it doesn't mean it's a bad research. In fact, you will want coal for many projects. And if you saw my previous video on this topic, I find coal to be a good resource for getting money. What players may be typically looking for is how to make paper. So in that case, you can see that you need to go mine, workshop, and then paper workshop. The melting furnace produces steel, and it's pretty much easier just to buy steel off of the trader. As for the next tree over, you'll see that it ends in nectar. While the alchemist lab by default produces medicine, that's just it. It produces medicine by default. You don't need to do anything to unlock it. Since this is a knowledge tree to show you what to unlock and how to unlock it, nectar is a separate entity, and as such listed as an item separately from the alchemist lab. And finally, the pig farm and the chancellor require a certain amount of residents to unlock. Your nobles will count towards this population. Once you've unlocked something, such as after you've read the workshop book, if you've done so early enough, the trader will show up with that book in tow. So if you're looking for the melting furnace and you only research the workshop after the trader has shown, you will have to wait until next time. Unless a revolutionary patch comes out, I believe that'll be it for my guides to Norland. I'd like to thank you for making it to this point in the video, and I hope that if you enjoy these guides that you leave a like. Thank you very much for watching Tran's Guide to Norland. I'll see you next time.